Hi, welcome back to Sidekick Television, The Martial Life, Season 3. We're on Episode 4 already. It's fantastic. We've had lots of people on the show, Frank Dukes and Mark Shuey and Dana Abbott. We're going to have more people. And tonight, actually, we have one of the best people. One of my best friends is actually a fantastic guy. Came all the way from Dallas, Texas to be on our show tonight. And we want to introduce Mr. What's your name again? Oh, no.
I forgot.
This is Alvin Goldie Mack. All right, Alvin Goldie Mack. And listen, Alvin Mack actually, just so you know, 20-year veteran of the police department there in Texas, right? A Vietnam veteran yourself.
Correct.
Right? And I don't care how much I paid the Vietnam guys, they couldn't shoot him. I don't know.
Well, they couldn't see me in the dark. So,
that must have been what it was. It's too dark. But just I know we're kind of a little bit limited on time, a little bit. So briefly, how did you get involved in martial arts? How did you get started?
Oh, you know, I get asked that question a lot. And basically, to make a long story short, my dad moved us from Temple, Texas, to the south side of Chicago. Now, we're talking about in the early 50s. Here's a black kid wearing Wranglers, Western hat, cowboy boots, and when
you probably fit in like a glove.
Like a glove. I tell you. And, you know, I get on the south side of Chicago and I'm getting ribbed and teased. And if you know anything about a cowboy, you don't mess with a cowboy's hat. Yeah. So I was always getting in fights because they would grab my hat and throw it around. Yeah. And so, I used to get beat up all the time. Well, my cousin Sam Landrum happened to be the state champion for Shotokan Karate.
So he did real martial arts at one point.
You know what? I don't want to hear that. And so he heard about my situation, and he took me on his wing. And from that day forward, things have changed. You know, the thing is, when I was younger, I was afraid of fighting because I was afraid of getting hurt. Yeah. But once I got into the martial arts, I became afraid of fighting because I was afraid of what I might do.
You might hurt someone. Yeah.
Exactly. And the martial arts is not about hurting people. No. It's about making you a better person.
Discipline, respect for yourself, discipline for yourself.
Exactly. So, yeah. And so, and I've been doing it ever since.
Now, here on the Martial Life, we always want to talk about how martial arts has changed lives. And we can say, yeah, we know how to protect ourselves now.
Exactly.
And we can protect others, our family and our loved ones. But tell me one thing that how martial arts has benefited or changed your life in some way, other than the defensive. You know?
Well, you know, like I said, like I always tell my students, I don't teach you how to fight. I teach you how to defend yourself. But the thing about it is, defending yourself comes in many phases, many ways. Not only how to defend yourself physically, yes, but how to defend yourself psychologically, right, spiritually. And this is what I do when I teach classes. Because the thing about it, I'm going to get attacked more from someone saying something negative about me or saying something bad about me than somebody going to physically attacking me. Yeah. And if I'm not armed with the techniques to overlook it or deal with it in a way, we call it verbal judo.
Right.
You know, then you find yourself getting in all kinds of trouble. And with me,
and this is coming from Alvin Mack Ph.D. by the way, Dr. Mack.
And so the thing that I try to get my students to understand is that I have to make sure that I have the responsibility of training them on 3 different levels of defense. Right. The first level is to defend yourself against someone illegal use of force against you, whatever that might be. The second is to make sure that I also teach you how to defend yourself against the possibility of criminal prosecution. You'll be surprised in 20 years how many people I've taken to jail yelling, screaming, I was just defending myself. Yeah. But according to the law, no, yes, you started out defending yourself,
but you stopped here.
Yeah.
And you went there.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing that I have to make sure that they learn how to defend themselves against the possibility of civil liability. Mm-hmm. And the example I like to use, regardless of what your political thoughts are on this, you know, the O.J. Simpson trial. Right. He was found not guilty in criminal court, but he was found guilty in civil court, and he lost everything. Yeah. So, you know, the martial arts has taught me how to look beyond the point of, you know, are my feelings hurt? Mm-hmm. You know, people get, well, you made me angry. Well, unless they jumped in your body and took over your nervous system, how did they make you?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Make you do anything. Yeah. You felt the way you felt about
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to turn that into a positive. I'm a firm believer in the win-win syndrome. You know, I don't want the situation to be win-lose, because anytime you got a win-lose, you just made an enemy.
Yeah, the loser feels bad.
Exactly. And they're going to try to get back at you in one way or another.
That's a great, yeah.
In the Orient, they have this thing about losing face. And the big thing that you don't want to ever do is make someone lose face, because it could cost you your life.
Right.
And here in the United States, you make an enemy, he or she is going to get back at you in some way, whether they talk about you negatively
Right.
and ruin your reputation, or attack you physically.
Right.
So the martial arts has taught me how to deal with that.
Now shifting gears, because we have an upcoming project. We're actually finishing up your book.
Yeah.
And this kind of pertains to your 20 years of law enforcement, right?
Correct.
You bring that into the forefront. After being a law enforcement officer for 20 years, we're doing a book called Secrets to Safety, right?
Yeah.
Home invasion protection and self-defense, right?
Correct.
Which is self-defense for women and children, and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
And tell us about some of the information that's going to be in this book.
Well, in this book, we have FBI statistics have shown that most of the home invasions happen when you're not at home. But at the same time, there's a lot more people working from home.
Right.
So when a home invasion takes place, you're in your home. The second thing is that most home invasions happen between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Right.
So it's daylight hours anymore, and it's no longer in the dead of night with somebody with a mask on and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So in the book, especially in the self-defense category, I show you how to use simple household items and to defend yourself with.
Yeah.
But more than that is that
you show some demonstrations how to protect your home from invasion.
exactly,
Right?
You have to have an escape route. Nature has taught animals how to have escape routes out of their barrels when they're getting attacked. So why do we as human beings, how many apartments that you moved into that only have one entrance in and no entrance out? When I was growing up, there used to be a back door and a front door to apartments.
Now it's usually just one
Just
door
that
in and
one.
out, right?
And so you have to have this escape plan. You also have to have this plan that if somebody breaks in, you get your children and your spouse out, and you have a specific point that you meet. And they don't leave that point until you physically come and get them.
And then in this book is going to cover all of that. And how can people reach you? Because I know you do a children's protection. You have a 5103C
Yes.
for children. But how can people get in touch with you?
They can reach me, I either go on my website, www.umaatc.
That's a double L. UMAATC.org and not .com, right?
Yeah, or they can reach me at 214-407-1901.
All right, there you go. Hear it right here from him. Let's keep it going. This is Goldie Mack. I'm Allen Woodman. We'll be back in 2 minutes, all right? Thank you guys for watching Sidekick TV. Hang out for more.